I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I can't do the review today. I'm coming down with something.
Oh, don't worry about that.
Who said that? God?
Not yet. No, this is the Umbrella Corporation, where we lead the charge for better pharmaceuticals to create a better you.
Wow. So you guys think you can fix me up?
Of course we can. Just look at our CEO. You know you can trust him because he wears sunglasses everywhere, even at night. Would someone who wears sunglasses everywhere, even at night, lie to you?
Oh, well, if that doesn't scream good guy, then I don't know what does. I'm already feeling better. Thank you, Umbrella Corps.
Just doing our job, sir. Umbrella is not responsible for growing new body parts, mutating, hungering for brains, feasting on the living, emitting poisonous clouds of gas, turning into giant eldritch nightmares, or complete global saturation.
You got. Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron, and whoa, wait, hold on. What was that last thing you guys just said? Something about Saturn Nation? Hello? Guys? I'm sure it's fine. Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron, and this is Thorgi's Arcade. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look. Okay. That's probably not normal. Yeah, so changing plans. I'm going to go to a real doctor. And the police. You guys are going to chill out here and watch our review of Resident Evil 2. I really hope this is covered by my insurance.
I don't mind telling you, I've been waiting a long time for this game because I am a huge Resident Evil fan. Yet, I never actually played Resident Evil 2. I know it's a contender for the best in the entire franchise, but when I was a kid, I picked up the GameCube remake of the original Resident Evil, and I was introduced to the spine-chilling terror of tank controls. Yes, I know it makes the game more tense because you have no idea what you're doing, but I always had a problem with the whole, having no idea what you're doing thing. I hated these controls, but I powered my way through it because darn it, I was a kid, and when you're a kid and you get a game, you're going to hold on to it for dear life, no matter what it is. So I forced myself to finish it, and I really enjoyed it. I love the mansion, I love the over-the-top characters, and it was my first experience with horror games, which would go on to become one of my favorite genres, but I didn't want to go anywhere near these controls ever again. But when Resident Evil 4 came out and I saw that they changed the controls around, I jumped back in and I have loved this series ever since. Except for one short break. And because of that, I have been hoping and dreaming that one day they would do a full remake of Resident Evil 2 in the modern day over-the-shoulder camera format. And the day is finally here. I finally get to dive into Raccoon City, and I'm pleased to say it's just as scary as I'd always heard. And as difficult as I always heard. As I said, I didn't really get into the series until Resident Evil 4, and it was around that time that this franchise decided, hey, what if we start making the protagonist an action movie badass and we made ammo and health plentiful? But this series started off as survival horror with a capital survive. The original games were known for being difficult for what little ammo and resources they gave you, but going into this game I thought, yeah, but the main reason that they were difficult was because you couldn't really aim. But now I've got my trusty over-the-shoulder camera angle so I can see exactly what I'm shooting at, so I'm going to be able to score one headshot after another, so I'm going to be practically unstoppable. And why is that zombie still coming? Yeah, I was wrong. So very wrong. These zombies are everywhere and they're tough. I kept trying to hit them in the head, and not only was that next to impossible because the zombie bobbing head animation is floppily on point, but even when I did get a headshot in, I could put 5 or 6 bullets in there and they would just keep on coming. And I always used to hear people say in the original games you had to count your bullets. Yeah, that's not an exaggeration. I remember people applying Resident Evil 7 for how scarce it made bullets, adding that survival tension back in there. But compared to this game, Resident Evil 7 has more ammo than a Texas gun show. I spent over a decade in these games believing if you see a zombie, then you need to kill it because the dead shall not be permitted to walk the earth. But halfway through this game, I finally had to throw my hands up in the air and just say, screw it, I'm giving up. If I actually try to kill every single zombie, I will not win. I am fighting an entire city of the dam, and my ammo is the equivalent of a slingshot and a fistful of acorns. Resources are so scarce in this game that anytime I actually found myself saying, oh wow, I'm actually doing pretty well on ammo and health, I would instantly get a sense of dread because I knew that would not last. And then sure enough, I would end up wasting almost all of it in the next room. However, I cannot stress this enough. None of this is a complaint. It's a praise. The game wants you to feel tense. It wants you to feel like you are struggling to survive in a zombie apocalypse. It wants you to feel like every corner you turn around could mean your death. And it nailed that. The second this game begins and you find yourself running up to the police station where you'll spend a huge chunk of this game, it really feels like you're trapped in a world overrun by the living dead. It honestly captures that feeling of being in a zombie movie better than any other game I've ever played right from the very start. But for anyone totally new to Resident Evil, you might be wondering, okay, aside from zombies, what exactly is the story of this game? Well, that's one of the most unique elements. It actually has two stories. Kind of. Okay, it's basically 80% the exact same game that you have to play through twice, but you get to do it as two different characters, and that 20% that is different between both campaigns actually does make this pretty special for me. Our heroes are Leon Kennedy, a cop arriving in Raccoon City for his first day on the force, and Claire Redfield, the sister of Chris Redfield from the first game, who is returning to Raccoon City to search for her brother who has gone missing. The two of them quickly become separated and embark on their own journeys through the police station, the sewers, and eventually finding their way to the secret source of the madness deep beneath the city. Now, Resident Evil has always been known for plots that are over the top and acting that ranges from wooden to what? But I was shocked to find that the plot of this game is fairly simple, as Leon tries to help a mysterious woman named Ada uncover the secret of what caused this outbreak, and Claire attempts to rescue a young girl named Sherry who was actually connected to the virus's origin. Yes, they're fairly simple plots, but what is here is actually pretty solid. After playing through this, I had a whole new appreciation for the relationship between Leon and Ada as it played out in the later games, and the connection between Claire and Sherry is actually great. Speaking of Claire, I gotta make a real quick sidebar here just to say this was my first game getting to play as her, and she instantly became one of my favorite characters in the entire franchise. She is a powerhouse of a protagonist, and the moment when she stepped up to save this kid that she just met because it was the right thing to do outshined anything her boulder punching brother ever did.
That sentence is probably going to be very weird to anyone who didn't play through Resident Evil 5.
And even though Claire and Leon don't cross paths that much in this story, I actually love the moments that they did. The two of them have an instant chemistry that makes me kind of upset that we never saw them team up again in any of the later game installments. Then again, maybe it's for the better that they didn't, because judging from this game, they probably wouldn't have gotten much done if they did.
Okay, Leon, I just found the last missing puzzle piece that we need in order to open up the statue that leads into the sewers underneath the city. If you come with me now, we might be able to get some help before Marvin fully turns.
Claire! Claire! It's so nice to see you.
For real? Is this actually happening right? Okay, alright, sure, I see how it is.
How you doing? That helicopter just came out of nowhere.
I'm in one piece.
Leon.
I'm guessing you don't have a key in one of those fancy pockets?
Leon!
That's good.
Yeah.
Any luck with your brother?
No, not yet.
Yeah, hey Claire, that's a real shame about your brother there. Leon, the exit? Remember that? Remember the whole getting the hell out of here plan? That sounds fun right about now. Remember? It's over here.
But how are you doing?
You know, just surviving.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Where are my manners? Is our zombie apocalypse interrupting your meet cute moment here? Unbelievable. I'm gonna go and hang out with Marvin until he eats me. Because that was a thing that was happening. Actually, Leon, you had the Clover key, so could I get that off you? No? Okay, yeah, understandable.
Now, I will say I do still have a few complaints about this story, one of which being I wish we could have gotten to spend a little bit more time in the city itself. When the game opens and you're running through zombie-infested streets, my heart was racing at the idea of what could be coming up. But aside from one short segment in Claire's campaign, we never really get to see the outside world again. But my main complaint is that despite the fact that you both have your own objectives and sidekicks, aside from the final boss and one segment where each of you get to play as your respective partners, these campaigns are pretty much exactly the same. I know that's how it was in the original, but again, I didn't play the original, so I'm judging this in terms of someone playing through it as a first timer, not in how well it replicates the original game. And I do wish that we had gotten some more variety in their journeys, because since you essentially have to play through this game twice in order to get the actual ending, it did make it a tad repetitive. Although I will say, even though you essentially go through just 3 locations in this game, they made those locations thick with content. Whenever you enter a new area, especially the police station, you will see that pretty much every single path is cut off for you except for one, and as you explore that area, you're slowly going to unlock new weapons which you will need, and find ways to create shortcuts back to your original starting point. And every single time that I figured out how to create a brand new path, it gave me a rush unlike anything else I have ever experienced in an RE game. And even if you've been through an area 3 or 4 times before, all these monsters around every corner still kept me from ever feeling relaxed. Not only are the zombies everywhere and constantly coming back to life, but once you think you finally figured them out, then you'll start running into zombie dogs that can outrun you and jump at you from great lengths, or you'll find plant monsters that can instantly kill you if they get their hands on you. And don't even get me started on the lickers, which are just deadly from their claws all the way up to their weirdly exposed brains. Oh god, why would you design anything like that? But if you play this game smart and you take your time to think about every single situation, then you can manage and deal with everything you come across. This is a game that really does reward you for using your brain. Oh god. Shouldn't have said brain. Now I'm thinking about the lickers again. Oh god. As I said, zombies absorb so much ammo that it isn't worth killing them all, but if you shoot them in the legs, then you can at least knock them down, forcing them to crawl or shooting off their arms so that way they can't grab you. And the lickers might be a huge threat, but they don't have eyes, meaning you can sneak around them as long as you move slowly and don't make a lot of noise. And even if you are caught by a monster, they give you several weapons that you can sacrifice in order to force them off you, such as knives and grenades. The knives being my personal favorite because this game actually did the unthinkable and made the knives in a Resident Evil game a viable weapon. However, there is a risk-reward factor when it comes to these weapons because every single one of them takes up a spot in your very limited inventory, so you will have to think carefully about what you want to take with you, because when this game starts, you have basically what you can fit in your pockets, and that's about it. The only way to increase your inventory is to add more pouches to your belt than a Rob Liefeld character by finding these pouches scattered across the game, many of which will require you to have to use some kind of a puzzle in order to unlock them. But again, if you use your head, then you can find them all. And you can even take steps to prevent more zombies from joining the battle by boarding up the windows. Something that I cannot stress enough is a really good idea, because on my first playthrough, I never did it once because I thought, yeah, I won't be coming back by here anytime soon, and I'm sure no one else is going to show up, only to find myself running back through there 10 minutes later and seeing that the entire place was now infested. I just cleaned this place out and now there's zombies all over the place again. They're like freaking bed bugs. You have to burn the mattress and then throw that mattress on top of a pile of zombies. That's why on my second playthrough, I started boarding up every single window like I was preparing for the big bad wolf to come along, and it improved my gaming experience immensely, showing you how smart this game is and how it provides you with all the tools that you need to plan your way through it. I know it's all scary at first, but as long as you pace yourself, look around at everything, take your time, and use your noodle, then you can tackle anything in this game.
Jesus Christ!
Except for this big motherfucker. Yeah, did I forget to mention that in addition to the regular zombies and mutants running around, about halfway through your time in the police station, the fine people at Umbrella are going to decide, you know what? this might be getting a little bit too easy. Let's kick it up a notch. And they send in Mr. X, an unstoppable juggernaut who will chase you down relentlessly. Every time that you think he's finally gone, he'll pop back up and plant you 3 feet under with a single punch. He really takes the challenge of this game up to a brand new level. Again, showing off the amazing difficulty curve of this game as it never lets you feel too comfortable. Every time you think you finally got this figured out, they'll twist that screw just a little bit tighter. Heck, after I beat the game with Leon, I started the second playthrough with Claire and I thought, okay, this is going to be easy. I already beat it once, so I know exactly what to expect. Only to find that if you start this game with the second character, you're going to start halfway through the police station with Lickers and Mr. X already out there, and you only have 3 bullets to start. Are you sure about that, Resident Evil? Are you sure that it's not too easy on me? Do you want me to take the Bird Box challenge too while I'm at it? Actually, they did decide to make this game even more difficult because I haven't really talked about the gameplay simply because the gameplay is great. It feels incredibly smooth. Except for one tiny thing. Every now and again, it just won't allow you to run. And at first, I thought this was just on me. I thought that maybe I wasn't pressing the run button correctly, maybe I was just mistiming it, maybe if I tried hitting another button at the same time that I tried running, then it just screwed it all up and I just needed to learn how to work around that. But I've been looking around at a lot of other critics on the internet, and a lot of people have also been having the same complaint. So apparently it's not just me. Apparently, for anybody out there who's using the PlayStation, every now and again the R3 button just doesn't really work in this game, causing the I need to get the heck out of here run animation to turn into a light, jaunty summer stroll, which I guarantee you is not the advisable speed for these characters. But again, aside from that one glitch that appears to just be something that the PlayStation controllers are dealing with, everything else in here does actually control incredibly well. But there's one part of the game that I haven't mentioned yet, and it's kind of a big deal. The presentation. Now, normally I talk about how a game looks or sounds first because that's obviously the first thing that you're going to notice. But I had to save it for the end because it's hands down the best thing about this game. The key to a good horror game is atmosphere, and this game took that spine-chilling feeling that you want out of a horror game and drenched every inch of itself in spooky, gooey goodness. I know that sounded way too graphically descriptive, but how else would you describe this scene?
Oh crap! Did I remember to tell everyone at the start of this review that this video is going to contain graphic images, and if you find those things disturbing, then you need to look away? I'm sure I'm fine.
Walking through the police station down pitch black hallways with only your single flashlight as your source of illumination was terrifying. I've played games that tried to be dark, but I am not exaggerating when I say you cannot see anything at times except for what is within your flashlight's radius, and I love that. It made you feel like you weren't safe even from a direction you were looking straight down because something could be hanging out just slightly to the left of where your flashlight was pointed. And in most Resident Evil games, they tend to drop the horror a bit towards the end of the game because they realize, hey, you're probably getting used to this by now, so let's just ramp up the action at this point. But even at the end of this game, when I was running around the big science fiction research base, I still had moments where I was terrified to go down a darkened hallway. But even when you want to run out of an area as fast as you can, you still need to check every corner for hints on how to open up paths that will allow you to continue forward. And as you're doing this, you'll find plenty of notes all over the place that are there just to give you an idea of how the zombie apocalypse affected everyone in the city, making it feel so much more real. All Resident Evil games have those little bits of lore here and there, but here they actually really got to me. There's one story about a little boy and orphanage that genuinely creeped me out, and later in the game I found an email from a scientist to a friend of his that came in the middle of an attack, and it was just him asking his friend about old times, and you can tell that it was him reaching out to his buddy one last time for some closure and some comfort, and it really makes this place feel less like a game level where they're trying to give you clues about how to progress, and more like a real place where something terrible happened to these people. And the sound design is absolutely perfect. Hearing the zombies' groans, the plant mutants clicking and hissing, the hum of the sewer plant, or even just the sound of unlocking a door, which I won't lie, was oddly satisfying to me, all of it sounds so crisp and makes these locations feel so fleshed out. Just listen to the heavy footsteps of Mr. X when you're hiding from him in a save room, and you'll be able to tell that he's right outside that door. God damn, I have never been so scared of a foot stomp in a game, but I found myself holding my breath in real life when I tried to listen in on this. It's so spot on, you can actually feel him walking around on the floor above you. You can pinpoint the exact spot that he is. So the Resident Evil 2 remake delivered a gorgeous game that knew how to keep you tense and freaked out all throughout with likable characters and amazing monsters that made me still enjoy playing through it on multiple runs. And there's even bonus games unlocked after everything is done, and free DLC on the way, meaning that there are many things loaded in here beyond just the main story itself. There are so many reasons to keep coming back and keep playing this. Yes, I wish we had spent some more time outside in the city, and I wish that we had gotten some more variety between the campaigns. And of course, if you're a PlayStation user, there is that weird glitch that many of us are running into where you just can't run when you try to. But that being said, this is not only a great game for people who are new to this franchise, but it is a must play for longtime fans, and I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. Thanks for tuning in to our review. In case you missed it, we just recently picked up all of our gaming content from another channel and moved it over to this brand new channel, and that's kind of a big deal. So I want to thank everyone out there who has been supporting us during this move. Moving from one channel to another is almost as scary as moving to Raccoon City, so it really does mean a lot to me to see your support. And if you want to continue supporting us, then the best way to do that is just to spread these videos around the web and try and get more people talking about us. And you can always donate to us over on Patreon in order to hear our monthly podcast, or you can just follow me on Twitter and Twitch at Professor Thorgi, where you can see us play through these scary games live and watch me get freaked out in person. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and remember to come back later this week because we've got yet another brand new review lined up. Bye, everyone.